Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into 105.1 WTUK, your game of the week. That's right. You get a twofer this week as we are at Harlan County High School. Middlesboro Yellow Jackets in town to face off against your Harlan County Black Bears. And this is a district matchup. Last night, Harlan County went to Middlesboro and defeated the Yellow Jackets by a score of 18-1. Brand new ball game here this evening. You have Jesse Gilbert on the mound for Harlan County, and first at the plate is going to be the pitcher, number 13, Parker Hampton for the Yellow Jackets. Pitch right on that outside corner for strike one. It's a good start right there for Gilbert. You want to stay ahead. That's the key. I've noticed pitching, especially at the high school level, stay ahead. Gilbert gets a sign, delivers. That one's high and inside, going to be 1-1 now. Looks in. Here's the pitch. A little too far outside. 2-1 the count. Gilbert shakes off the first one. He's coming with the second offering. That one's outside. Ball three. So after getting ahead 0-1, now down 3-1 in the count. Going to have to work back against Parker Hampton. Swing and a miss. Good job getting that one in there. So going to work to a full count. Swing and a miss, strike three, and Gilbert able to battle back and get the strikeout for the first out of this game. That's going to bring up the catcher, number 8, Mitchell Capps. I don't have all of their stats on the season, but for the ones I do have off of KHSAA, Capps, he is a freshman. He's had, in the stats that they've turned in 24 at-bats, he's batting .333, actually has a home run under his belt as well. Here's the first pitch. Swung on, hit right back to Gilbert. Gilbert's going to throw on to first base to record out number 2. So after working one full, he gets a swing on a first pitch for a quick ground out. And that's going to bring up the number 3 hitter, the first baseman, number 11, Isaac Harris, the sophomore, hitting .625 in the stats I have. That's just crazy. First pitch, curveball outside. They have him at 24 at-bats. He's had 15 hits, and that's only in the 10 games that I have from the stats. Swung on, foul back out of play. That's going to be evening the count at 1-1. Gilbert looks in. Here comes the pitch. Curved and got over the plate, and it's going to be fouled off out of play down the right field line. Now Gilbert ahead, 1-2. 2 outs in the inning. Curveball going to be grounded, stopped by the diving shortstop. It's going to die on the infield, but that's going to allow Harris to reach on an infield single. It's actually a good job stopping that one there at shortstop for Harlan County. That'd be Brennan Blevins down there this evening. So that's going to bring up the cleanup hitter, the third baseman, number 23, Malachi Coots. He was on the wrong side of that loss yesterday. He pitched against Harlan County. Tell you what, I remember watching him on the basketball court. He's a big young man, senior. They only have him on here with 9 games, and in those 9 games, he was batting .500. Pitches outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count. Gilbert checks the runner, comes to the plate, called a strike, 1-1 the count. Here's the pitch. That breaking ball looked like it was going to get Coots, and it broke back over the inside corner of the plate. It's going to be 1-2 now, the count. He's going to have to be defensive at the plate here. There's the pitch. Got him reaching, swing and a miss. So his second strikeout gets him out of the inning. 4 come to the plate. 1 reaches. No runs in. We'll be back in just a moment here on 105.1 WTUK. Welcome back to 105.1 WTUK's Game of the Week. Harlan County facing off against the Yellow Jackets of Middlesboro. Harlan County now comes to the plate. Deshaun Smith, the leadoff for the Black Bears, the catcher. Speedy catcher at that. They have been batting .261 on the season. Parker Hampton on the mound for the Yellow Jackets. Has kind of a sidearm delivery there. Smith shows bunt, pulls back, but it's going to be a strike regardless. Now, sometimes that sidearm delivery can be a little harder for batters to pick up. That's going to be outside. Ball 1, 1-1 the count. Hampton looks in. Right arm hanging to the side. He's ready. Here's the pitch. Outside. Ball 2. Looks like he's trying to work that outside edge. Here's the pitch. Another one outside. Ball 3. He's hit that same location about 3 times in a row after getting that leadoff strike. Smith showing bunt. He's going to pull back now. Pitch inside. Ball 4. So Smith is going to reach safely on a walk. So the first batter for the Black Bears reaches base.
Now batting number 10, Brennan Blevins.
It's going to bring up the shortstop, number 10, Brennan Blevins. Made a decent play knocking a ball down there in the top of the first inning. It's one of those kids, he hustles on every play, just fun to watch. Enjoyed watching him on the basketball court the years I've got to call his games there. The old adage, get 'em on, get 'em over, get 'em in. Harlan County gets their first base runner in Smith. Blevins showing bunt. Hampton ready to deliver. He didn't even really check Smith, and Smith takes off to second base, and he's in there with a steal.
They stole second and third. The first throw did. Got a bunt hit.
So Smith now in scoring position. Blevins took a ball for that first, or he took a strike for that first pitch. There's the pitch. Offered at it to bunt. Going to be fouled off. Going to be 0-2 now for Blevins. Hampton looks in, gets his sign. Doesn't check the runner. Blevins pulls back the bunt attempt for ball one. 1-2 the count now. Harlan County looking to play a little small ball here early on. Blevins steps back in. Hampton peers in. The catcher gets his sign. Checks the runner. He's going to throw back to second base. Smith gets back safely. Checks the runner again. Comes to the plate. Bunted right where he needed it. And I think he's going to reach base on that one. He is. And the ball pops out of the first baseman's glove. And Smith, good base running right there, looking and watching. And he comes home for the first run of the inning. So that's a bunt single for Blevins. Got the job done. Was going to be a sacrifice and got the runner to third. But when the ball popped out of the glove of the first baseman, Smith just very alert, heading on home. And that's going to bring up the opposing pitcher, Jesse Gilbert, wearing number 18. So 1 run in, no out. You got Blevins down at first base. Gilbert steps in. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Gilbert wanted every bit of that one, and Blevins about got caught in a rundown. He stopped, thought about heading on to third, but good job by the center fielder to get back there. So it was a big cut by Gilbert right there. He wanted every bit of that one. So Blevins down at second now in scoring position. Gilbert ready's at the plate. Hampton checks the runner. Now he's going to throw back. Blevins gets back safely. Green Bay cleans off the home plate. Gets back there now. Hampton looks in. Gilbert waiting on the pitch. 0-1 right now, the count on him with Blevins down at second base. They're going to throw back to second again. Blevins gets back safely. And that's one of the things I have noticed in high school sports. You get base runners on, it does give you an edge because the opposing pitcher, it's going to make you a little bit nervous, a little bit antsy. You're going to be trying to watch that runner. And I've noticed even some runners make it harder on the pitchers just by dancing around, making some noise. Here's the pitch. Gilbert squared around to bunt. It's going to be fouled off. It's going to be 0-2 now, the count. Blevins still down at second. 0-2 on Gilbert. Here comes the pitch from Hampton. Inside, ball one. Gilbert readies. Hampton comes to the plate. That one's a little high. Going to be 2-2 the count. Count even at 2-2. No outs in the inning. One run in. Blevins down at second. There comes the pitch. Gilbert swings on it. Fouls it back out of play. And those folks didn't even flinch. It almost hit them. Stays at 2-2. Hampton looks in. Comes to the plate. Going to be outside. So after falling behind 0-2, Gilbert able to work a full count. Swung on, fouled out of play again by Gilbert. That one heads over to the softball field. Still a full count, no outs. Blevins down at second. Hampton readies, comes to the plate. Just kind of a little excuse me swing there by Gilbert just to stay alive. Just wanted to, anything close, going to swing on it. Do it again, full count. Hampton checks the runner. Comes to the plate, swung on, and Gilbert's a little blooper, and the second baseman, good play by him, able to catch it. And he tried to quickly throw it back to second base and throw it away, but that was a good catch by him.
Now batting, number 8, Zayden Castleberry.
It's going to bring up number 8, Zayden Castleberry, the second baseman. So one away in the inning, one run in. Blevins down to second base. Castleberry steps to the plate. The stats I have for Castleberry this season, they have him batting .364. Hampton going to throw back to second base again. We're going to have a fun time getting Blevins' white uniform clean this evening. He's slid back into second base so many times. They're trying to keep him honest back there.
Good.
That's swung on and lifted out to center field. The center fielder tried to make a catch, but he drops it. He tried to slide in. I thought he had it, but when his elbow hit the ground, it popped right out.
If I can figure it out.
So that's probably going to go down as E8.
Lost him. How do you turn up? Thank you.
That's going to bring up the first baseman, Carson Clark. Sophomore batting .317 on the season. Runners now on the corners. Center fielder made a good play on the ball. That ball just popped right out when he hit the ground. Bunted by Clark right back to the pitcher. He's going to go to first base with it. They're going to get the out at first, but Harlan County gets another run. So 2-0 now. Harlan County leads. 2 outs in the inning. So that'll go down as a sacrifice and an RBI for Clark. Castellari now down at second base. It's going to bring up the DH, number 5, Chance Sturgill.
Number 5, Chance Sturgill.
Looks like Coach going to come out and talk to Sturgill. They're going to get a courtesy runner out there for Zayden Castellari. That looks like Caden Hensley. Nope, that's Andrew Vance. Freshman, Andrew Vance. I know they use Hensley and Vance quite often as courtesy runners, and Shepard as well. So, all right, so Coach Bailey talks to Sturgill. 2 away in the inning, 2 runs in. You got courtesy runner now down there at second base is Andrew Vance, and Sturgill steps into the plate. Missed a little bit of the beginning of the season with an injury, but glad to see him back out there. First pitch to him, going to be a little bit high, ball 1. Looks in. Here comes the pitch. Inside. Ball 2. 2-0 the count. Here's the pitch. That's outside, and that's going to get Vance over to third base. They're going to throw down to third. Vance able to make it standing up. Ball 3 on Sturgill now, 3-0 the count. So this is one of those situations where you're probably taking on this one. Sturgill stepping back in. Hampton readies. Comes the plate. It's going to be low, ball 4. Sturgill going to head down to first base. Now runners on the corners for number 21, the left fielder, Kobe Shepard. Checks things out there with Coach Bailey to see what he's wanting him to do. Shepard steps in. Vance at third, Sturgill at first. Shepard now at the plate. Hampton comes with the first pitch. They're going to throw back down to third base as Sturgill's going to take second. So now 2 runners in scoring position. First pitch was called a ball, so it's going to be 1-0 the count. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 2.
You said 1-1.
Actually, they said 1-1, so I must have missed that first call. 1-1 the count. Shepard ready's back at the plate. Hampton looking in. Here comes the pitch. Shepard pulls back, and the ball got away from the catcher. But I don't think anyone saw it, so the runners do not advance. It's going to be 2-1 the count now, 2 outs in the inning. 2 runs in, 2 runners on base. Hampton gets a sign. Outside, ball 3. Shepard showing that bunt. He's got the speed. He could get a bunt single easily. Three and 1 the count. Showing bunt again. They're going to call that one a strike. It's going to make the count full. It's so hard for me to tell the elevation of pitches up here. So full count, Hampton trying to get out of this inning with as little damage as possible. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be ball 4. So now 3 ducks on the pond. That's going to bring up number 1, Caden Adams, the right fielder. On the season, they have Adams batting .333 in the 18 games that we have him playing. Scored 10 runs, got 5 RBIs. Looks like the coach is going to come out and talk to his pitcher for just a moment, so that'll give us time to thank all of our sponsors: Don Super Saver, Anderson Laws and Jones Funeral Home, Baker's Tax Service, SEKRI, Southern Wholesale, Bobby Kreider for Harlan County Judge Executive, Reese Monument Company, Harlan Dental Clinic, Austin Miller for First District Magistrate, Philco for sponsoring our scoreboard, and Listen Be Law for sponsoring our player of the game. Thank you to each and every one of them. Missing my partner in crime tonight, Mr. Josh Caldwell. Had to be at a soccer game for his lovely daughter. Can't miss those opportunities with those kiddos. Kerrigan's still here to try to keep me in line. She's doing her best. So they're still meeting on the mound just to talk about things. Because here's the situation you're in. If you're the pitcher, you have nowhere to put this batter, so you're going to have to get strikes here. Give him something to swing at. All right. Bases are loaded. 2 outs in the inning. Here's Adams. That's going to be right down the middle for strike 1. If you get another one like that, Adams is going to have to swing on that one. Hampton coming to the plate. That one's going to be outside. Evens the count 1-1. To the plate. That got him. Hit by pitch. That'll bring a run in. Zayden Castellari's courtesy runner, Andrew Vance, going to come in. Bases are going to remain loaded. So that's an RBI the hard way, getting a hit by pitch. That's going to bring up the number 9 hitter, the center fielder, Braden Morris, wearing number 25. I tell you what, this Harlan County club is loaded with speed all over the field. Bases loaded, 3 runs in. Here's the pitch. That's in there for strike 1. Morris swings on that one.
That one is probably out.
It's out of play. Down 0-2 now, so you're going to have to protect the plate. Anything close, you're going to have to make a swing on it, poke the bat out there, and at least try to make a little contact to work it foul. Here's the pitch. Inside, got him swinging. That's going to be strike 3. And Harlan County works through the entire 9 hitters on 1 hit. Score 3 runs. We'll be back for the second inning in just a moment here on 105.1 WTUK's Game of the Week. Welcome back to 105.1 WTUK. Leading off this inning for the Yellow Jackets will be the center fielder, number 3, Jaden Simpson. Everybody on the Tyron Stokes watch right now because he's supposed to be committing at 6:30. Everybody waiting to see, will it be Kansas, will it be Kentucky, or will Oregon come from behind as a sleeper in the pick? One good pickup for Kentucky right now. They just picked up Justin McBride. First pitch in there for a strike. Gilbert coming to the plate again, not wasting any time. Right in there for strike 2. Quickly ahead, 0-2 is Gilbert.
This guy hit a home run yesterday.
It said Simpson hit a home run yesterday for Middlesboro. A little pop in his bat. Check swing. They're going to say he went, so that's going to be strike 3. It's going to be 3 strikeouts now for Gilbert, and that's going to bring the shortstop, number 10, Bryson Heck, to the plate. Heck stands in. Gilbert coming with the first pitch. Swung on, going to be popped up high. Carson Clark and Deshaun Smith both giving chase. Clark going to catch it in foul territory. So quickly 2 away now here in the top of the second inning. That's going to bring up the second baseman, number 16, John Hayes. Hayes steps in there. Got that old Eric Davis stance, man. Got that back swinging. Active hand, swings and misses the first one. Oh, Eric Davis was my favorite player back in the day for the Redlegs. Pitch outside, ball 1. 1-1 the count.
Thank you.
Makes these drop there, huh?
Thank you.
Hayes steps in. 2-1 the count now. Swung on and hit to the second baseman. He gloves it, heads over to first base with it, and that's going to be 3 up, 3 down for Gilbert here in the top of the second inning. We move on to the bottom of the second. We'll be back in just a moment here on 105.1 WTUK. Welcome back to 105.1 WTUK. Bottom of the second inning. Harlan County back to their leadoff hitter. That's going to be Deshaun Smith. He walked and scored in the first inning. Had a stolen base then as well. Pitch outside, ball one. Smith was showing bunt, pulled back. Coots was ready to storm in to grab that bunt. That pitch going to be outside, gets away from the catcher, ball two. Steps back into the batter's box. Showing bunt again. That one, I think it hit his feet. He had to try to jump it, but so he's going to head down to a first base after the hit by pitch.
Number 10, Brennan.
Brings up Brennan Blevins, who reached on a bunt single and scored in the first inning. Blevins steps in. Smith down at first base. Throw over. Trying to keep Smith honest over there. Throw over again. Smith gets back. Smith goes, ball bounces in there. It's going to be close. Smith gets, nope, they're saying they got him. I thought he got in there, but they're going to say he tagged him. That was just a on-the-spot throw from the catcher. Yeah, I don't think Smith realized they. So that's going to be an out. Blevins steps back in, 1-0 the count. Bunt right back to the pitcher, and they couldn't get it, so he's going to reach with another bunt single. Probably going to go E1 with that one. He should have fielded it, probably, so dropped it when he first grabbed it, so I'm going to go with what Mr. Henson says. He knows this way better than me. That's going to bring up the pitcher 18, Jesse Gilbert. He popped up to the second baseman in his first at bat.
That's Kansas. That's Kansas.
It's going to be a bunt back to the pitcher. And both are going to reach, I do believe. They did get him out at first base, so that's going to go down as a sacrifice. Runner's going to make it over to third, Blevins. It appears Stokes has chosen to go to Kansas. I figured that was coming. It's going to bring up Carson Clark. He had a sacrifice and an RBI in the first inning. Ball one, the pitch to Clark. Here's the pitch. Swung on, fouled out of play. Going to be 1-1 now. Can't say I was surprised by Stokes picking Kansas. Had that gut feeling. Did that hit him? So that's going to be a hit by pitch.
Bases loaded, one out.
Runners on first and third, 2 away in the inning. That was Castlery at the plate. That was my fault. I totally missed that. Now Carson Clark's coming up. And they're going to have Castlery in a rundown, and they're going to tag him out. He broke before the pitch left. I don't know. What did he call there? Did he call balk? Yeah, he called balk. It's something about the way the pitcher stepped off the mound. They're going to get a balk call here. Middlesboro coach wanting some clarification here.
I mean, he's supposed to get the rundown.
Coach going to talk about it. So if it stands, Harlan County did get a run across. The problem I think that they had is he did not step off of the mound. He just kind of turned around and threw to second base. Didn't step off the mound. He just kind of pivoted.
Yeah.
Which means it's going to be.
So that'll stand where it's at. So Castlery does take second base off of the balk, and Brennan Blevins comes in to score.
No, still two. Yeah, remember he got threw out at second, stealing.
Yeah.
He did it.
Second.
Second five.
Hey, we got a runner picked on third base. Game rock.
Here's the pitch inside, ball one. Four to one the count now. Harlan County leads. 2 outs in the inning. Runner down at second base. Clark at the plate. Swung on. Driven down the third base line. Just foul. 1-1 the count now.
Well, 5 pitches, I think. That's in there.
That's a hit for Clark as it bounces out in left field.
Well, it don't matter. He was scored in there.
So Castlery comes home.
Now that number 5.
It's going to be a single and an RBI for Clark. So now 2 RBIs in the game for Mr. Carson Clark. And that's going to bring up number 5, Chance Sturgill. Sturgill walked, made it to third base, was stranded there in the first inning.
With a run. We're just getting one.
Pitch is outside, ball one.
We win this one, I think we won the season. Everybody at home, still recording. It's a last throw. Check that.
2-0 the count now. Sturgill steps back in there. Hampton comes to the plate. That's going to be right down Broadway, strike one. Be strike two.
Yeah.
2-2 the count with 2 away here in the second inning. Harlan County leads 5-0. Two runs in here in the bottom of the second. Gilbert swings on that one, lines it out to center field. So that's going to be a single for Sturgill. Clark down to second base. That's going to bring up Colby Shepard, who walked in the bottom of the first inning. First pitch to Shepard. He reached to try to bunt it. It would have been ball one, but they're going to get him for strike. Hampton comes to the plate. Offers at a bunt again. Going to be strike two. So Shepard down 0-2 now. Going to be a ball. 1-2 the count. Two and two, the count evens. Fouled out of play. Still 2-2. A lot of twos going on. Bottom of the second inning, 2 runs in, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning. Batter calls time. Shepard steps out for just a moment. Or throw back to second base. Almost thrown away. I don't think the second baseman was ready for that. Here's the pitch. Swung on by Shepard. It's popped up. The catcher giving chase and just could not get there to get it. Shepard stays alive, 2-2. Hampton looks in. Been a long inning here. Swung on by Shepard. Fouled up again. Catcher giving chase once more. And he made that catch. Nice job by the catcher, and that's going to get us out of the inning. 2 runs in for Harlan County. It's 5-0 after 2 here on 105.1 WTUK's Game of the Week. Welcome back to 105.1 WTUK's Game of the Week. Harlan County, Middlesboro action here at Harlan County High School, this beautiful baseball softball complex over here on the grounds of the school. Love the view right here. It's just a perfect backdrop. See part of the cross-country course back there. Track team's actually at the University of the Cumberlands this evening competing. Lead off the inning, it will be the right fielder, number 7, Jackson Womack. Pitch in there for a strike one. I know he's had more at-bats than that, but they have him with only 4 at-bats in the stats that I've been given. It's in there for strike 2. Going to be 1-2 now, the count. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and Gilbert keeps on rolling. First out in the inning. Gets him swinging. And that's going to bring up the DH, Caden Burchett, wearing number 2. Swung on, hit to the shortstop. He fields it, bobbles it, picks it up, throws on to first. Going to be a little late there. So that'll go down as an E6, and Burchett will reach first. Gilbert looks in. Parker Hampton now at the plate. Pitcher trying to help himself a little bit. Throw over to first. Keep the runner honest.
Yeah, it's a different world there.
Burchett leading off down there at first base. Gilbert comes to the plate. Swung on. It's going to be grounded to the second baseman. He's just going to go on to first base with it for the second out of the inning. Burchett will make it to second. That's going to bring up the catcher, Mitchell Capps, wearing number 8. He grounded out to the pitcher back in the first inning. So 2 away, a runner in scoring position for the Yellow Jackets. They'd really like to get a run on the board right here in the top of the third. Trailing 5-0.
I don't think their regular season was that special. They were soft.
Here's the pitch from Gilbert. Swing and a miss. Good pitch by him. Nice breaking ball right there.
Yeah.
Checks the runner at second. Comes the plate. Swung on and hit to the first baseman. He fields it. He's going to try to get there, and he beats the runner. And that's going to do it for the top of the third inning. We head to the bottom of 3. Harlan County leads 5-0 on 105.1 WTUK's Game of the Week. Welcome back to 105.1 WTUK as we head to the bottom of the third inning. Harlan County leading 5-0, and the girls at Middlesboro right now leading 5-2 over the Lady Cats of Bell County. Coming to the plate for Harlan County, it'll be the right fielder, Caden Adams. He was hit by a pitch and had an RBI in the first inning.
Now at number 1, Jaden Adams.
Adams steps in there. Hampton sets on the mound. Peers in it as catcher. To the plate. That's in there, strike one. Now with the whole Tyron Stokes drama out of the way, I look for UK to make a big push for Mom Silovich. Ball almost hit Adams there. Going to be outside. Ball one. It's 1-2 now, the count. I'm sure Michael and I will be talking about that on Cats Chat tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. Be sure to join him for that. Ball two. Going to make it 2-2. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss by Adams, and Hampton going to get him swinging on strikes. That'll be the first out of the third here for Harlan County. Second strikeout now for Hampton. That's going to bring up Braden Morris, the center fielder. He struck out in the top of the first, or bottom of the first, my bad. Harlan County girls have scored another run. It's now 6-2 over Bell County. First pitch to Morris, offered a bunt, pulled back, going to be 1-0. Oh, 2-0. I must have missed a pitch. That's my fault. Kerrigan keeping it straight there. That's going to make it 2-1 as he offered on that bunt. Hampton looks in. Comes to the plate. Morris is going to do a little pop-up bunt. The third baseman charged, tried to catch it, just could not get it. And Morris is going to reach first base safely. It's probably going to go down as E5 right there. He probably should have gloved that one because he was playing in on it. Just could not get it in the glove. That's going to bring Deshaun Smith back to the plate. Hampton looks in. Going to throw over to first base. Hampton comes to the plate. Smith rips it down the left field line, but it's curving foul. Morris was already pretty much on second base, so that turns into a long strike. 0-1 the count. That one would have been fair. That one might have been trouble. Throw over. Morris is going to get back safely. On the count, one away in the inning. Morris standing down at first base. Smith awaits this next pitch. They're going to throw over again. There's the pitch. Smith bunts it. Third baseman has it this time, and they're going to double up Morris as he was already almost at second base. So that does it for Harlan County in the bottom of the third. 5-0 as we head to the fourth here on 105.1 WTUK. Welcome back to 105.1 WTUK. Middlesboro back at the plate here in the top of the fourth inning. First pitch to Harris was a swinging strike. He singled back in the first inning. So quickly 0-2 now for Gilbert. Gilbert pitching a pretty good game right here. Swung on, popped up high in the air. Blevins is underneath it. He catches it. And that's going to bring up Malachi Coots. He struck out swinging in that first inning. That breaking ball looked like it was going to be 2 feet off the plate up high, and it broke right back down over the plate. That was a good pitch right there by Gilbert. A lot of movement on that one. Pitch swung on, going to be chopped on the ground. The shortstop went to field it, kicks off his foot, so Coots is going to be safe at first base. I'm guessing that's going to be an E6. Mr. Henson, I was just waiting for the official word. So one aboard now with one away here in the top of the fourth inning. That's going to bring up number 3, the center fielder Jaden Simpson, who homered in last night's game. Coots with a little bit of a lead there. Here comes the pitch, going to be low and outside, ball 1. Simpson struck out swinging. I said struck out. He struck out swinging in the second inning. You can tell I've taught all day. I'm a little bit tired. That pitch didn't break the way he wanted to. Going to be quickly 2-0 now to Simpson. That's what happens when you try to say swing and struck at the same time. You get the word swuck. I think I just invented a new word. Gets him looking there, so it's going to be 1-2. I think instead of struck out, we're going to have to start saying swuck out. That's what I'm going to start doing now. I've invented a word. Jimmy got a kick out of it. Jimmy's still laughing at me over here. Pickoff attempt at first base. Coots gets back in there. Pitch swung on by Simpson, fouled off back to the softball field. So after falling down 2-0, Gilbert now back with a 2-2 count. Comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Gilbert picks up another strikeout. More importantly, 2 outs now in the inning. Malachi Coots still down on first base. That's going to bring up number 10, Bryson Heck, the shortstop. He fouled out back in the second inning. Strike 1 in there from Gilbert. Gilbert has yet to face more than 4 batters in an inning. Pickoff attempt at first base. Kerrigan over there telling me to shush. She don't want me to jinx it, but I'm telling you right now, I talked about it yesterday. I interviewed Tom Leach. He told me there's no such thing as a broadcaster's jinx. And if I'm going to believe anybody, I'm going to believe Tom Leach as he gets a swing and a miss. Going to make it 0-2 now. Checks the runner at first. Comes the plate. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, and Gilbert gets out of the inning. It's 5-0 as we head to the bottom of 4 here on 105.1 WTUK's Game of the Week. Welcome back to 105.1 WTUK's Game of the Week. Leading off the fourth inning for the Black Bears will be the shortstop, number 10, Brennan Blevins. He singled on a bunt and scored in the first inning. He reached on an error in the second inning and scored, and here he is again in the fourth inning for his third at bat. Pitch going to be a little high, ball one. Blevins steps back in there. I think he lost control of that sidearm pitch, got away from him, going to be ball two. Sometimes when you come with that sidearm delivery, that's going to happen. Blevins steps back in there. Kerrigan's getting enjoyment watching me wrestle the cord to my headset. Keeps twisting on me. That pitch going to be in there for strike one. Good pitch right there from Hampton. 2-1 the count. Blevins awaits 2-1 off. Squares around the bunt. Going to be outside. Ball three. 3-1. Comes the 3-1. Squared around the bunt. Pulled back, but that's going to be a strike anyway, so he's going to work the count full now. Going to be out as his bunt attempt rolled foul.
Yeah.
So that'll go down as a strikeout for Brennan Blevins. That'll go down as Hampton's third strikeout. That's going to bring up the pitcher, Jesse Gilbert, number 18. First pitch, a ball. Hit him with that one, so he's going to reach base. Hit by pitch. I think that's the fourth hit batter.
Now batting number 8, Zayden Castle.
So Gilbert, even though he's been at the plate 3 times, he's officially 0 for 1 because he popped up to the second baseman. He had a sacrifice, and then he had a hit by pitch. They're going to bring in a courtesy runner. This time it is Mr. Caden Hensley, I do believe. That's going to bring up Zayden Castellari. He was actually hit by the pitch in his last at bat. That is Caden Hensley down at first base. Castellari steps in. 1 away in the inning. Runner down at first for Castellari. Offers a bunt. It's going to be fouled off. Strike one. Hensley with a pretty good lead down there at first base. Hampton going to throw over. He didn't even look. He just spun and threw it.
So that was Kate Mason.
Throw over to first again. Trying to keep Hensley honest over there. Going to be bunted foul. Going to be strike 2 now for Castellari. 0-2 the count. One away in the inning. Castellari going to step back in there. I think I would just swing at this one. Coach Bailey giving him the signal. Throw down to second base. Hensley going to make it in there safely. Now he's going to take off for third as the ball goes into center field. They're going to try to throw him out at third. He's going to slide in safely and get third base. In the process, Castellari down on strikes, and that's going to bring up Carson Clark. 2 RBIs on the day for Clark.
Now batting number 2, Carson Clark.
Looks like the umpires are going to have a meeting out there. Not sure what this one's about. I'm going to call Coach Bailey over. I'm not sure what this one's about now that they're talking. Runner down at third base. Melvin just mentioned it could be an interference issue. I don't know. I didn't see it, but I'm waiting to figure this one out. Now both coaches over there to talk about it. Middlesboro coach still standing right there on the first baseline just talking to his pitcher. I don't know what the holdup is. So it must have been an interference call, so they're going to call the base runner out. Not really sure, but that's going to do it here for the bottom of the 4th inning. So we'll be back in just a moment here on 105.1 WTUK. Welcome back to 105.1 WTUK's Game of the Week as we head to inning number 5. Hayes at the plate, the second baseman wearing number 16. Going to be ball 1. We did find out it was offensive interference is what they called after the strikeout on Castellari. They're going to say he didn't get out of the way of the catcher to make the throw. Swing and a miss. Gilbert looking in. There's a pitch. It's going to be outside. Ball 2. 2-1 the count. Strike 2 on that one. 2-2. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, and Gilbert records another K. 1 away in the inning. That's going to bring up Jackson Womack, the right fielder, wearing number 7. He struck out back in the 3rd inning. Seventh strikeout for Gilbert on the evening. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Quickly gets ahead of Womack. Swung on, foul back. 0-2. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Gilbert gets another. Heads to the 9 hitter, the DH, Caden Burchett, wearing number 2. Reached on an error back in the 3rd inning, made it to second base before Harlan County got out of that one. Nice breaking ball from Gilbert right there. Good action on his pitches tonight. Quickly gets ahead. 0-1. One and one the count. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Gilbert ready to come to the plate. Swung on and hit down the third base line. Bobbled. That's going to allow the runner to reach now. So that's going to be 2 times he's reached on an error. That'll go down as E5. Back to the top of the order with the opposing pitcher, Parker Hampton, coming to the plate. Throw down to second base. He's going to be in there safely on the steal. I was watching the throw down. I'm not sure if he called that a ball or a strike. I think it was a ball. We'll make sure here in a minute. Swung on and fouled back. So 1-1 is what I heard Green Bay just bark out. So that first pitch was a ball. I thought it was, but I wasn't 100% sure. Runner still down at second base in scoring position for the Yellow Jackets. Gilbert checks the runner a couple times, comes to the plate, swing and a miss. Gets ahead 1-2 now. Swing and a miss, strike 3. They throw down to try to get the runner going into third base. It doesn't matter. The strikeout gives us 3 outs in the inning. So we head to the bottom of 5 with Harlan County leading 5-0 here on 105.1 WTUK's Game of the Week. Welcome back to 105.1 WTUK. Carson Clark will be leading off the inning for Harlan County. He's hit a sacrifice, had an RBI back in the first, had an RBI single in the second. So 2 RBI night for him. He was at the plate when the interference call was made. It's going to be outside, ball 1. Ball 2. Pitcher tying his shoe. 2-0 the count. Steps back up on the mound. Pitch is inside, ball 3, so quickly 3-0 to Clark. Strike there. It's going to be fouled off out of play, so Hampton battles back to make it a full count now. Swung on, drilled out to center field by Clark. It's going to fall in for another single for him.
Now batting number 5, Chance Sturgill.
Good bit of hitting right there.
See him look at me and go, flip his bat over.
Now batting the DH, number 5, Chance Sturgill. Coach going to come out and talk to Hampton.
Is it 14 or 24?
So it looks like they're going to be bringing in someone else to pitch now, I'm pretty sure.
Pinch runner's Killian Jackson.
They're going to bring in Killian Jackson to run for Harlan County. Coach is out there talking to the pitcher. I'm not sure if they're going to do anything different or not. I thought they were changing the pitcher for just a second, but they are not. It's going to bring up Sturgill. Sturgill has reached on a walk, and he's reached on a single back in the second. So Clark standing down at first base now. There's the pitch, ball outside, and Jackson was very close. He broke like he was heading to second and had to run back and dive to first. It's going to be 1-0 now to Sturgill.
6-3 was the final now? Yeah, 6-3.
6-3 is your final from Bell County as your Harlan County Lady Bears defeat the Lady Cats. Once again, Killian Jackson dancing around out there. Ball 2, 2-0 now the count. Hampton peers over. Now he's coming to the plate. Sturgill sticks out his bat to try to bunt it. Going to be strike 1. Steps back in there. 2-1 the count. No outs in the inning. Runner on first. Harlan County leads 5-0 here in the bottom of the 5th. Throw over to first base. Jackson gets back again. The amount of rain we had last night, field in really good shape. Coach Bailey doing a good job keeping it together out there. Sturgill squares to bunt, pulls back. It's going to make it 3-1 now, the count. So once again, your Harlan County Lady Bears defeat the Lady Cats down in Bell County by a score of 6-3. Here's the pitch. Outside, going to be ball 4. So a walk to Sturgill is going to bring up Colby Shepard. Colby has walked and popped out to the catcher.
Colby Shepard.
Shepard steps in. Runners on first and second. No outs here in the bottom of the 5th. A bunt down the third baseline, and it was going to be a fair ball, I thought. They're calling it a foul ball. I thought he picked it up in fair territory, but he must have grabbed it after it went foul. So all that commotion ends up just being a long strike. Pitch is outside. Ball one makes it 1-1 now, the count. Showing bunt. Pulls back. Going to be ball two. It looked like it was going to be inside, and Shepard pulled back, but it hit that inside corner. It'll be strike two. Count 2-2 now. Bunt laid down by Shepard. Perfect bunt to the pitcher. He's going to be out at first base, but he does his job and advances the two runners. Good bunt by Shepard.
Now batting number 1, Caden Adams.
So now two runners in scoring position for Caden Adams, who has been hit by the pitch and got an RBI out of that one because the bases were loaded and struck out back in the third. One away in the inning now. Adams offers it a bunt. Misses, going to be strike one. Hampton looks in. Two runners in scoring position. Adams squares the bunt again, pulls back. That's going to be 1-1 now, the count. Foul ball on the bunt attempt. Going to make it 1-2 now, the count. One and two, the count, one away in the inning. Adams lays down a bunt foul, so that's going to be another strikeout.
Now batting number 25, Braden Morris.
Two away in the inning now. Two runners still on, second and third, and Braden Morris comes to the plate. Struck out back in the first, reached on an error, E5, back in the third. Ball one outside. Ball's on that outside edge for strike one. Going to make it 1-1 now, the count. Swing and a miss off the catcher's helmet. That'll be 1-2 the count now. Hampton stepping back up to the mound. Or steps back into the batter's box. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Harlan County strands 2, and we head to the 6th inning here on 105.1 WTUK's Game of the Week. Welcome back to 105.1 WTUK's Game of the Week as we head to inning number 6. Going to be Mitchell Capps, the catcher, wearing number 8 to lead off. Breaking ball in there for Gilbert. Breaking ball still working for him. Capps grounded out to the pitcher back in the first and grounded out to the first baseman back in the third. Swung on and hit to the shortstop. Fielded. Going to be dropped. He's going to throw it to first. Not in time. Good stretch by Clark down there trying to grab it.
86 again. Close.
They're going to read that. They're going to score that as an E6. That'll have Capps down at first base with Isaac Harris, the first baseman, coming to the plate. He singled back in the first inning and popped up to the shortstop back in the fourth. Throw over to first, keeping him honest. Ball got away from the catcher. The runner does not advance, though. Want to know the count now to Harris. Throw over to first base. Runner gets back.
I think we got 2 or 3. Not a couple. At least last thing was real hits.
Oh, inside. Almost got him. Going to be ball 2.
He's taking Gilbert out.
I like it. Harris was going to take that one like a champ. Pitch ball 3. So quickly 3-0 now to Harris. Swing and a miss. Fouled off. Not a miss. He fouled it back to the backstop. Going to make it 3-1 now, the count.
No ice on them, though.
Everyone did it tomorrow.
Swung on and drilled out to right field. The right fielder is going to be over his head, right in the gap, and you're going to have at least one run score. And easily makes it into home. Good bit of hitting right there by Harris. Double out in the gap between center and right field. RBI for him. Looks like they're going to have a meeting of the minds on the mound. Coach Bailey comes out to talk to the pitcher. No outs here in the inning. Runner down at second. One in for the Yellow Jackets, trying to get a little offensive rally going here in the sixth. That'll bring up Malachi Coots. He struck out back in the first, and he reached on an error back in the fourth.
She's gonna be a baby sick.
Hits him. Coots going to head down to first base.
I think it's about time for.
All right, so that's going to have two runners on now, and that's going to bring Jaden Simpson to the plate. Simpson struck out twice in this one, but he's got a little pop in that bat. He hit a home run in yesterday's game, as we mentioned earlier. Ball low, ball one.
Lucas is who he's warming up, I bet.
Swing and a miss, strike one.
Lucas.
I think it's bad practice. Nobody else we got in there.
Pretty sure that our assistant coach doesn't have to practice.
Pitches like he's still back.
Oh, makes sense.
It's the baseball in general.
Throw back to second base to keep him honest. One and one the count now to Simpson. Check the runner at second. Comes the plate, outside, ball two. Swung on and fouled off. 2-2 the count. Runners on first and second. 2-2 the count. No outs here in the top of the sixth inning. One run already in for the Yellow Jackets, trying to get a little late rally going. Swung on and drilled to the third baseman. He catches it. Tried to double him up over at first base, threw the ball away, so both runners are going to advance. They're going to say the ball went through the fence, so the runners can't advance further. It's one of those you might want to just eat that one. According to Mr. Henson, that is our 5th error of the game. We do have an out in the inning now, and that's going to bring up number 10, Bryson Heck, the shortstop. He's fouled out and struck out back in the 4th. Popped up to the shortstop. He comes up, grabs it. So if you're Gilbert, that's what you needed right there. It's going to bring up John Hayes. Struck out back in the 5th. So runners still at 2nd and 3rd, 2 away in the inning, 1 run in. Swung on, drilled out to center field.
That's Morris.
Morris is out there. He grabs it for out 3. Middlesboro gets 1 run, and we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Harlan County leads 5-1 here on 105.1 WTUK's Game of the Week. Welcome back to 105.1 WTUK as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Back to the leadoff hitter, Deshaun Smith, coming to the plate. He walked and scored back in the 1st, walked and got caught stealing back in the 2nd, and then had a bunt pop out back in the 3rd. First pitch, a ball to Deshaun. Now, new pitcher into the game is Hayes for Middlesboro. Outside, ball 2. Breaking ball had a lot of movement on it.
But that ain't even finding it's long.
Ball for the ball case. Whoa.
It's going to be a strike. 2-1 to count.
Green clean down there.
High, ball 3, 3-1.
Carmax slash.
Ball low, going to be ball 4, so Smith will head down to first base again.
Now batting number 10, Brennan Blevins.
That'll bring up the shortstop, number 10, Brennan Blevins. Singled and scored in the first. Reached on an error and scored in the second, and bunted out for a strikeout back in the fourth inning. Looks like they're going to talk things over. The coach from Middlesboro out there talking on the mound. This pitcher. Black Bears huddle up and talk a little bit too. So Harlan County has a runner on first base. No outs here in the bottom of the sixth. They lead 5-1. Blevins steps into the plate. Hayes looks, comes to plate. Bunt by Blevins, back to the pitcher. Going to get the runner over to second. He throws on to first. Throws it away, and Deshaun Smith never slowed down, and he's going to score off of the error throw, and Blevins is going to make it all the way to third base.
As it started day one.
Now batting number 18, Jesse Gilbert.
First base coach for Harlan County had to dodge that throw. It's going to bring up the opposing pitcher, Jesse Gilbert, facing off against Hayes now. Jesse's been hit by a pitch. He's had a sacrifice and then a pop-up. He's squaring the bunt. He's going to bunt it to the pitcher. They're throwing it to first again. They're going to get Gilbert, but it is going to score another run.
Well, I could live with that one.
It'll be a sacrifice RBI for Gilbert. Makes it 7-1.
All like this.
Now
We'll bring up Castleary. Reached on an E8 and scored back in the first. Hit by pitch and scored back in the second. Struck out back in the fourth. Breaking ball, a little bit inside, ball 1. Two and 0 the count. Ball 3. 3-0 now to Castellari.
This man.
One away in the inning.
Carson. Okay.
Inside, ball 4. Castellari going to trot down to first.
Number 2, Carson Clark.
That'll bring up Carson Clark. He's had a pretty good day. 2 singles, 2 RBIs. Officially 2 for 2. Outside, ball 1. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit down the first baseline. It's going to stay fair. They're going to tag out Clark, but the runner heads up, was heading to third, and they're going to get him, and it's going to be a double play as they get Castellari trying to catch him snoozing, but a good play, heads-up play right there by the first baseman, tag out, throw out. That's going to head to the top of the 7th inning, 7-1, Harlan County on top. Middlesboro with 3 more outs. We'll be back in just a moment here on 105.1 WTUK's Game. Welcome back to 105.1 WTUK, and Gilbert starts the top of the 7th with strike 1 to Womack, the right fielder. That was a bit outside, going to make it 1-1. Fouled back. 1-2 the count. Gilbert looking for his 10th strikeout. And he gets it right there as Womack swings through that one. 10 Ks on the night now for Gilbert. It's going to bring up Burchett. He reached on an error in third and an error in the 5th. Going to get him swinging on that one.
Good morning, setting that. Good morning, sounds
Bit outside. 1-1 the count. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. 1-2 the count. Here's the pitch. High, ball 2. 2-2 the count. Fouled off to stay alive. Going to make it 2-2.
I thought they all had like the same amount of money.
2-2 the count now. I think that foul tip kind of went off Green Bay there a little bit. I'm sure that hurt a little. Steps back in. Gilbert looks. Comes the plate. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 for strikeout number 11. And that's going to take us back to the top of the order. Parker Hampton coming to the plate. 1 out left here for the Yellow Jackets. See if they can get a little 2-out magic going, trailing 7-1 here in the top of the 7th inning.
One in the first, one in the sixth.
That one's hit, popped out to the short, well, bounced to the shortstop, but it's going to be thrown away. So
Oh, I want that in the air. Never mind.
I thought that was a pop out, but it bounced high off the ground, so that's going to go down as an E6. And Hampton reaches base. It's going to bring up Mitchell Capps, the catcher, wearing number 8. He reached base on an E6 back in the 6th and scored. And that big RBI double by Harris. Ball a little bit low and outside. Ball 1.
That's how you got on.
Gilbert checks the runner, comes the plate. Swung on and drilled out to the gap. Right fielder gets over to it. He's going to pick it up. Runners will be on first and second now. Only the 3rd hit given up by Gilbert on the evening. Runners now stand at first and second with 2 away. Harris with the big RBI double back in the 6th inning. Coach going to head over and talk to the runner at second base. Maybe bringing in a courtesy runner out there. Here steps in. Gilbert checks the runners. Comes the plate. A little bit low. Ball one. It'll be ball two. 2-0 the count. Here's the pitch. Swung on and drilled out to center field. Going to be cut off by Morris. It gets by him. So 1 run's coming in. So Harris delivers again with a 2-out RBI. And that's going to make it 7-2 now with runners on first and second. Still 2 away in the inning. And Malachi Coots coming to the plate. Only 2 hits have been given up by Gilbert so far in this game, and now 2 hits here in the top of the 7th inning. Coots has struck out, reached on an error, and got hit by the pitch. Pitch is low, ball 1. That's drilled to the shortstop. He fields it, going to toss to, nope, he's going to run on to second base and tag the bag, and that's going to do it for us here at Harlan County High School. The Black Bears come away winning this one by a score of 7-2. We want to thank all of our sponsors for sponsoring our game of the week. Don Super Saver, Anderson Laws and Jones Funeral Home, Baker's Tax Service, SCKRI, Southern Wholesale, Bobby Kreider for Harlan County Judge Executive, Reese Monument Company, Harlan Dental Clinic, Austin Miller for First District Magistrate, Fuel Co. for sponsoring our scoreboard, and Listen Be Law for sponsoring our player of the game, and that's going to go to Mr. Jesse Gilbert tonight. 11 strikeouts on the night, only gave up 4 hits and 2 runs. One of those was earned, the other was not. He also, at the plate, he was able to, let's see here. He had an sacrifice RBI there in the 6th inning to give Harlan County another run. So good night for Gilbert all around. Good night for the Black Bears. They come away winning 7-2 here on your Game of the Week on 105.1 W2UK. Great job to Kerrigan here, as always. Doing a great job on the camera and trying to keep me in line. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope and pray that you guys have a great evening. Until next time, God bless.
This has been a production of Eastern Broadcasting.